Hello everyone, reporting today for First Updates Now, I'm Abbas, and with me here is Team 19068 ABSO-TECH from Romania. They were the finalist alliance captain at the Romania National Championships last year and made an appearance at the Maryland Tech Invitational and have been absolutely fantastic this year, making it to the eliminations for their first qualifier in Romania, as well as ending 8th, going 5-1. They have a fantastic robot, and I want to jump into all that coming up on First Updates Now.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. SOLIDWORKS is free for first teams. Over 80% of US engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SOLIDWORKS to design great products. SOLIDWORKS can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team. Check out our all-new FTC content coming to Fun's YouTube, including new hosts from the FTC community. We'll have resource guides, top 10 moments, behind-the-box interviews, and walkthroughs to help your FTC team improve at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow.
Okay guys, let's get started with your drivetrain. From my understanding, you guys have had multiple iterations this season, so talk about that a little bit.
So our first iteration was from our previous season, from Fright Frenzy. We had to build it like in the robot in 16 hours, and we didn't have many ideas for it. So we just used that one. And but that wasn't our plan for the whole season. So there comes the second iteration, the one you see right here, that is full custom and with the belt transmission.
Yeah, and so, like, what changes were between, like, this drivetrain and the previous one, besides just, like, mounting patterns and, as you said, the belt transmission?
It is full custom and a little bit wider.
Mm-hmm. And so was, like, the width thing something, like, usually teams go for, like, very, very narrow drivetrains. So did you guys make it wider just, like, because the design needed some more width, or was there, like, some other reasoning behind that?
Yes, just because of the design, and it is stable.
Mm-hmm.
It is more stable on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so now jumping into your guys' intake, you guys have a fantastic extension system and then the claw at the end and the arm and everything. So let's walk through each subsystem step by step, starting with your extension. So what are you using for it and how has it developed throughout the season?
For our intake, we use two linear slides powered by two servos from Gobilda, and an arm with chain transmission, and our claw that is from PETG material. This isn't our first iteration, but is the one that actually works best for us.
Mm-hmm. And so it looks like for your guys' linkage on the horizontal linear slides, you guys are using like a scissor linkage design. And so
Yeah.
teams typically like they just have one like a 2-bar linkage, but obviously like with a scissor, there's many more links. So what challenges did you guys have in developing that? And like was that your first time doing this or do you have previous experience?
It was our first time doing this, and actually that was our first thought when doing the linkage, and that's how it came out.
Awesome, yeah. And so like do you guys have any issues with it that you want other teams to know like before they try to build their own, or would you like just really recommend it for other teams to use?
I think that better servos
Okay.
and faster ones, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah, and like as far as like position control and everything goes on that, you're very happy like with how the scissor linkage operates, or do you guys only use it to go all the way in and all the way out?
We're happy with it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and can we get a little demonstration? Can we see the intake going in and out? Okay. I see. Yeah, it's very very smooth. As long as it's reliable, that's really important for competition. So going now, talking about some of the programming behind your intake, what are some of the sensors you guys use in your intake, and how have you automated it throughout Teleop?
So on the first iteration, we put we put here a distance sensor to close automatically when he see a claw. but it wasn't like it was fast, but we couldn't automate the whole teleop for better driving with it because uh, we want to make the transfer auto, so the cone from this claw would transfer auto to the outtake claw, and we couldn't do it with the sensor and still scoring on the ground junction.
Got it. Yeah. And so, talking a little bit about that transfer, that's definitely one of like the most difficult processes for teams to get right. And it looks like you guys have a very, very fast transfer. So, walk us through your guys' transfer and any changes you've made to the robot to make the transfer process much smoother.
So the changes were to put the servo from outtake claw to a position where the cone can fit without even closing the claw. So if if the intake claw drops the cone here, it just stays here without even closing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, other than that, like, are there any automations you guys have, like from a software standpoint, that make your transfer process really smooth? Or has there just been like not really a need to overcomplicate things on the software side?
No, we want to keep it simple.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And so now looking at your deposit system as a whole, walk us through it. You know what at what degrees of freedom you have, and how they've changed throughout the season. So let's start with your slides.
For our first iteration, we had Viper slides from GoBuilda, but we changed it to Misumi because they work better.
And so, how are you powering your slides? And yeah, how have you been powering them? And how do you have any plans to change that for the Romania National Championship? Or are you happy with the Masumis now?
So the intake ones are powered by two servos, and as I said, we want to change them with Axon servos. And the ones for the scoring system, the outtake, they are powered with planetary gear motors from GoBuilda, and they work pretty good.
Yeah, and it looks like you guys have the motors on a bevel, so you have the motors stood up and then going through a miter gear transmission and then have the spool. Is that correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
we use one-to-one transmission on the gear.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so that was just like for packaging, you needed the motors stood up instead of like normally as they would be like flat or going across the robot.
Yes. Uh, we choose this way to make the robot more compact.
Got it, got it. And so now looking at your deposit arm, how does it work and how has that changed?
So the scoring system is pretty similar to the intake one. It's made so that the cone would fit without closing it, and it's powered by a rev servo.
Got it. And so, looking at your junction alignment guide, I assume that's one of the things that's changed the most this season with all the new rulings coming out about junction aligners. So, can you show us how that one works? And if you've had any previous iterations, what were they?
We didn't have previous iterations for
Oh,
it,
okay.
and we'll show how this works.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So, uh, when you guys were designing this, you just didn't have any previous iterations because you didn't add it so late into the season, or it was just like you got it right on the first time.
We got it right on the first time. Of course, we did a bit of research so that we won't get any penalties
Uh huh.
for. But yeah, so far it's going great, and we hope that it won't cause us any trouble.
But we are planning to make some changes because we didn't have all the pieces that we need for it. But we
Okay.
will change it. championship.
Okay, got it. And so right now it looks like it's made, it's 3D printed. So do you guys have like any worries about it breaking? Like if it hits another team or not really?
No, so far it held up pretty strong. We bump in all the junctions and it still holds up pretty well.
Okay, yeah,
It's
that's
from
fantastic. Yeah, and so ABSO-TECH looking forward to the Romania National Championships. What needs to happen for you guys to get one of those tickets to the Houston World Championship?
So for the national championship, we're planning to do some improvements both on the autonomous side, on the teleop side, and both in strategy. Uh, so, for example, for our autonomous, we aim to achieve consistency. That's our most important part, and to achieve this, we're using the odometry wheels. Also, after the regional, we changed a bit the autonomous program so that the robot would move a bit slower on the field in order to have more accuracy in its trajectories. Um, and we're also implementing an algorithm using the web camera so that if the robot does not align at the junction perfectly, it can automatically adapt in order to place the cone where it needs to be placed. And besides this, we're also planning to focus on our strategy and on how we cooperate with the other alliance and what we need to do in order to have the highest score.
Yeah, awesome. So, ABSO-TECH, I'm sure everyone's very much looking to your guys' performance at the Romania National Championships, and those are coming up March 4th, March 5th, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you guys always have such fantastic driving. Just overall, absolutely amazing robots. So, thank you so much for this interview. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Abbas. Thank you, guys.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. SolidWorks is free for first teams. Over 80% of US engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SolidWorks to design great products. SolidWorks can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team. Check out our all-new FTC content coming to Fun's YouTube, including new hosts from the FTC community. We'll have resource guides, top 10 moments, behind the bots interviews, and walkthroughs to help your FTC team improve at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.